From the Indian side on this debate, Maroof Raza and General G.D. Bakshi joining us from Delhi. From Islamabad, I'm joined by Colonel Bashir Wali Mohammad, former DG of the Intelligence Bureau of Pakistan. Dr. Farzana Abadi is a human rights activist based in Islamabad. My first question is to Ahmed Raza Kasuri, who's a senior advocate of the Supreme Court of Pakistan. He joins us from Karachi. Knowing the facts of the case and the fact that it has been exposed now in the Express Tribune newspaper of Pakistan, Ahmed Raza Kasuri, don't you believe that silence from Pakistan will not work on this? On how Cham Singh was killed and why he was killed?
You see, this is a delicate matter. It requires a judicial probe. And unless there is a judicial probe, the milk will not be separated from the water. So for the evidence which you have shown, you have only highlighted the voices, but you have not shown the individual, who were the individuals who were saying that he was put to torture. You see, but suppose if he was really put to the torture, well then the person who are responsible should be put to the task. You see.
Yeah, but it's not been done, Mr. Kasuri. It's not been done, Mr. Kasuri, and these are all, there are a lot of people in Pakistan, including lawyers, activists, advocates, media, everybody who's talking about it. So, you know, I'm not hiding anything, I'm just putting the facts out.
No, but the position is that until and unless facts become clear and the facts are supported by autopsy, because the medical evidence when corroborate with the oral evidence, well, that's established.
This is the autopsy report which is out in the Pakistani media, by the way. Is the autopsy report which is out in the Pakistani media?
It needs a judicial probe. You see, I'm a man of law, and I will not budge an inch unless and until there is a judicial finding that he was put to death through a torture. But suppose if it is established that he was put to death by torture, well then I would strongly condemn and I will recommend that the people who are responsible should be brought to the book.
I don't think this is accidental. My only point is, 1 week after an Indian soldier is beheaded, exactly at the same time, General G.D. Bakshi, exactly at the same time when India tells Pakistan enough is enough, be careful, don't mess around with us. Exactly at that time, this man gets killed in this manner, and for 2 months, Pakistan tries to put a lid over it. For 2 months, till they return his body. When they return his body, General Bakshi, the liver, the kidneys and the heart have been removed in a most suspicious manner. Your response, please, to our guest from Pakistan.
You know, Arnab, the litany of demented and psychotic behavior that we have been getting from Pakistan is now absolutely sickening. Is this a normal nation state or is it a terrorist state? You know, the pity is that their entire educational curriculum per se has been vitiated with, you know, needless trying to engender hatred for the people of your neighborhood, for the country with which we were one previously. And you know, it is this which has been leading to this litany, as I call it, of mutilations, of torture. You know, look what they have done to their own Shia minority.
No, but let's talk about Cham Singh.
You know,
let's talk about Cham Singh.
Don't talk of the other minorities.
Let's talk about Cham Singh.
Chamel's case is one, you know, Arnab, where I am very grateful to you that you have upheld the dignity of the life of an ordinary Indian. It is not just the Zulu category Indians whose lives count. That unfortunately is the feudal mindset that is even there in our country. It is the ordinary Indians. If they keep getting tortured like this, I think we have to speak up. We have to create disincentives for the Pakistani state to stop behaving in this psychotic manner.
Let's get Colonel Bashir Wali Mohammad.
They have to be named and shamed.
Colonel Bashir Wali Mohammad, this entire case of Cham Singh and the way in which he was tortured in a Pakistani prison in Lahore, in Kot Lakhpat jail, what are your views on it? Why is it being hushed up by your government?
Well, I'm sorry to hear what my friends, already been talking. They're just harping on these old points. and you know, the chap who was the soldier was killed there and here. It was all their own creation.
Whose
it was
creation?
the raw game. They were playing the game. So I think it should not be so hyper, and they should stop playing this game. Now let me tell you about this gentleman. Now this chap was involved in the espionage. He was arrested on Sialkot border, not in Lahore, and then later on he was sentenced 5 years, and he was in the Kot Lakhpat jail.
Yeah.
Now in the jail, you know, if there is any torture, let's see the process. I've seen, I've interrogated a lot of people. I know how the system goes.
Yeah.
If at all their version we take, then this torture could have been there in the process of interrogation. Now the
Oh.
chap was punished.
So you admit.
Whatever it was.
No, you admit.
And then he was in the jail.
No, one second.
He has already
one second.
spent.
Colonel Bashir Mohammed.
Just listen, please.
No, my question to you, Colonel Bashir
that,
Mohammed.
you know, he has been there in the jail for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And now they have given the only evidence they are coming up with that Pakistani liar. And look at his credibility. Even the liar community does not accept him as a
so
liar.
Colonel, I have a few
He
questions
was
for you.
also beyond the bar for 42 months. And that too in a fraud case. So you should see
Colonel
what the
Bashir
credibility
Mohammed,
is.
I want to ask you one thing.
Yeah.
Is it normal nowadays, I don't know how things work in Pakistan, that in the course of interrogation you kill a person because he went out to wash his clothes? This is the case of Cham, Singh, by the way, Colonel. He was washing his clothes from an open tap, and there were eyewitnesses who said that he was mercilessly beaten by jail staff who made remarks against Indians and minorities. Right? And when his body was locked up, till now, we do not know what is the cause of his death. Till now. When his body is returned, tell me, Colonel, is it normal to take out the liver, the kidneys and the heart?
No.
No, is it normal to do that also?
No, it's not normal.
Then why did it happen?
No, look, you are again quoting the same witness. As I
Sir,
say,
I am not quoting a witness.
Take him as a
No,
witness.
sir, I am not quoting a witness.
He was a criminal himself.
No, Colonel Bashir Mohammed, not
No,
quoting
he
a
was
witness.
A criminal himself.
No,
and
sir.
Do you take that
Yeah, I am not.
the authority will call the liar and
Sir,
make
I
him
am not
stand
quoting
and
a
then
witness.
Punish the chap like that.
Colonel Bashir Mohammed, a 5-member board of doctors examined his body when it came back to Jammu. And be it known, the body
report
had no
is still-
heart,
the chemical
no
report is
kidneys,
still
and so
to
no
come.
liver. It had signs of torture.
The chemical report, you know, I haven't seen the report. So please, if you could produce that thing, as you know, my friend,
I want to get in Maruf.
like the barrister Kasuri has said, if we could see that, and then we will be able to comment. There has to be.
Well, I think it's
a
shameful.
judicial inquiry.
Well,
and
but
not
Colonel
just a simple
Bashir,
probe
I think
and
it is.
you-
I think it is right royal shameful, because the last thing we thought was that beheading was the lowest point to which people could go. But the fact that, you know, torture of this point and the removal of internal organs after thrashing a person to death while he is
that
in your prison.
You know, if you can produce that anything which we haven't seen, so it is your version what you are giving.
It's
I'm
not
sorry.
my version.
We'll
No, it is not my
buy what
version.
you are
How?
saying.
It is not my version. You should read your own newspapers. What makes you believe that Pakistani media has any
my
allegiance or bias
newspaper,
towards
you know,
India?
It is the way it has come. You know, it is the way that your newspaper has come.
Sir,
up.
it is the way
You
your
know that
newspaper,
they will
it is
come
the
up
way
with
your
it.
newspaper, the Express Tribune is not an Indian newspaper.
Everybody will give his own version.
That's not true. It is
and
your
these things have
newspaper.
been- you know, it happens.
Sir, it is-
even in the jail, you
Sir?
know, there are rows in between, there are groups.
I want-
But,
really?
you know, not only that I've been dealing with what subject you have picked up, but I've also been the minister of the prison for some time.
Yeah.
And I know, and the prison, you know, prisoner like that, the people, especially at the tail end of his punishment, which is about to leave, people are very, very courteous. They know because
Courteous.
they live for
So
5
is this the
years
courtesy?
away in this case.
Why don't
So
you? I want to get in
don't
Dr.
buy what,
Farzana, but I don't
this was.
understand. Sir, Colonel Bashir, if this is Pakistani courtesy in Pakistani jails, I am shocked and surprised. I
It's
want to
not
get in
the
Maruf
Pakistani.
Raza at this point of time.
Look,
Sir, this story.
It is look at your own Indian version.
Sir,
I'm sure you know the Samba.
Sir, let me tell you. Sir, let me tell you.
In 1971.
So why are you avoiding
finished
my
in
question?
90. Please.
Colonel Bashir Mohammed. Colonel Bashir Mohammed. One second. Colonel Bashir Mohammed. 1 minute, please. Colonel Mohammed, please understand. This autopsy report has been published in your own media.
One minute.
This
I just
autopsy
don't
report
ask
has
the
been
question.
published in your own media. You can claim that I have an agenda. I want you to tell me tonight. What agenda does your media have?
I'm sure you are working on a particular. You have the agenda. Please,
What agenda does your media have? What agenda does your media have to expose
just
your
forget,
system?
as far as I'm concerned, I'm least pushed about the media part.
That's
Whether
what
they
you
have
don't-
the agenda. You have an agenda.
Sir,
Just listen.
Sir, when the facts come out,
if
Colonel
you just go through
Colonel
the
Mohammed,
record,
you see what
I've
happens
given
is
you one example.
Colonel Mohammed.
I've given you. You are this Samba spy
Sir,
scandal
no.
where your
Colonel
own
Mohammed,
people,
answer
your
my
soldier,
question. Answer my question and let me interview you one-on-one.
Torture for months.
I'm asking you, Colonel
Look at their
Mohammed. I thought you would
families.
apologize
So
tonight on
please,
behalf of what's happened in Pakistan.
It happens.
Colonel Mohammed.
So as far as I'm concerned, we are least pushed to what happened there.
Sir,
but this is the reality.
One
So don't
minute.
say
1 minute,
Pakistani
please.
culture. This is
1
your
minute.
culture.
1 minute.
This is
Colonel
your
Mohammed,
culture.
please understand one thing, please, calmly. I'm requesting
No,
you,
then
Colonel
I do
Mohammed.
understand.
Colonel
Don't try
Mohammed,
to
I'm
teach me,
requesting you.
okay?
I'm requesting you, don't get worked up.
No, please don't try to
Don't
teach
get
me.
worked up.
I started this game when probably you were not even born.
I am
can
telling
see
you, Colonel Mohammed,
you were
don't
not
get
even
worked
born
up. I
when
am
was
telling
doing
you
this
the
thing.
facts.
So please don't.
You accept
don't
the
try
facts.
to teach me.
Colonel
Just
Mohammed,
keep your own
Colonel
this thing
Mohammed,
and
the
you are
autopsy
paid by
report
this
has been
channel
published
and
in
you
your
keep doing
Pakistani
that.
media. And if you don't want to listen to uncomfortable facts, you can tell me. I will still put the uncomfortable facts to you. A man has been tortured to death in a Pakistani prison and his body mutilated has been sent back to
Who
India.
says that
The
he was
autopsy
tortured
report
to
is
death?
ready.
The
It
report
has been
has to
reported
come
in a
still.
section of the Pakistani media. Are you willing to accept what you did to Cham
No, I
Singh?
just forget about the media. Everything
Yeah,
comes
forget
in the
about
media,
anybody
it
except
comes
your
and goes.
version,
That's
right?
not,
Let's get Maruf in. Maruf is responding to you. Maruf, I see the same approach that initially came in after the beheading of the Indian soldier. Maruf.
There are a couple of things. One is that with Pakistani guests, we will always get denials, at least the one that come on our show. So, it's going to be impossible to accept them, for them to accept that even what their media, their hospital reports and their agencies say, and if the colonel is, the distinguished colonel is not accepting the media report, he should just go onto the internet and click all the reports are there already. So the fact of the matter is that apart, I want to bring out 3 quick points. First, the thing is that I think Cham Singh must be honored for having stood up for India's pride, even in a situation where he was in a completely hopelessly outnumbered state, which led to his being thrashed and which led to his injuries and eventually his death. That's what the report says. So I think the government of India needs to give him some special recognition for the pride he showed for the country. The second point which I want to bring out, the colonel talked about how army treats his own prisoners. May I remind the colonel, sir, 93,000 prisoners of war of Pakistan who were with India. Please talk to any of your colleagues who were POWs here and ask them how honorably they were treated by the Indian Army. I know of many cases. I don't want to waste the time of the audience here.
Listen to him, sir. He listened to you, Colonel Bashir Wali Mohammed.
Let me complete my point, sir. Let me complete my point, sir. So we have also a tradition of treating people well. We are not constantly, as you are finger pointing to say, that we are all hallucinating. We are all building up this anti-Pakistan agenda all the time. But let's get a little real, sir. The reality is, and you've been DG prisons there, the reality is the state of prisons, the state of behavior with the prisoners is bad there. I wouldn't say it's very good in India. It needs a little bit of improvement here also. It's both sides. I think it's time to take this as a case in point and take stock of how much better we can honorably treat a prisoner till he is proven wrong. As Justice Kasuri, as the distinguished lawyer has said, that a judicial inquiry is required. I personally feel when an autopsy report is already available, I think a judicial inquiry is going to just delay matters.
Where is the autopsy report?
The legal community will only accept that.
No, 1 second.
Since the legal community will accept that, we can go ahead.
No,
but
Maruf.
the fact is that it will only delay. It's not going to bring back Cham Singh to life.
Well,
the
that's
issue
true.
is larger than that. The issue is Why are people being treated like animals in prison?
Well, you know, the fact
show
is,
them
Maruf,
some amount of dignity, whatever
Let's
the
get in.
circumstances. And I know of cases of Kashmir Singh who came back from Pakistan and said he was treated well. But on the other extreme is this case of Cham Singh. I think we have to have a balanced approach in between.
Maruf,
sir.
1 minute,
And I
please.
think
Let's
a
get
state
in
of denial
for
by
Dr.
senior people
Farzana
like
Bari.
you, a state
And
of
I want
denial
to
by senior
place
people
on
like you
record,
is not going to help the case.
especially for Colonel Bashir Wali Mohammed and Ahmad Raza Kasuri, sir. You will find it interesting that on the 4th of February, it was reported that Rahman Malik ordered an FIA probe into the matter. Judicial inquiry was set up. It could not make any substantial progress due to the absence of an autopsy report. And now the Pakistani government is all embarrassed because parts of the autopsy report have been published in their own media. This is the fact. This is the fact. Dr. Farzana Bari, is it possible to just keep an approach which says we don't quite care or believe in what comes out in the media? Your views on what your co-panelists from Pakistan are saying?
Look, this is the Pakistani media and there's the Pakistani doctor who has given this autopsy report. People like us tend to agree because it's not, we do have a history where our police has a very bad record of abusing and misusing their power and mistreating prisoners. And it's not only foreign prisoners but also Pakistani prisoners. And there are many cases where prisoners are being tortured, there are custodial rape. But I think what is extremely disturbing here is the tone. I think the way it is being, like you are sounding like making a war between India and Pakistan. I think that's a very irresponsible way of addressing the issue.
Dr. Farzana Bari,
because
did I not
listen,
Dr. Bari,
no, we have to focus on the issue.
Dr. Bari,
Look,
first
the
of all,
culture of police
no, Dr.
is
Bari,
equally,
1 minute,
no,
Dr.
the culture
Bari,
of police
I am
is
discussing the
equally,
case of
equally inefficient. Just hold on.
I am discussing the case of Cham
point
Singh.
of view. I think this is very irresponsible to make the case and you stir negative nationalism between Indian and Pakistani people.
Dr. Bari, I thought that
this abuse of
Dr. Bari, please understand
it may be the abuse
facts.
of authority which might have happened, because I'll agree it might have happened in Pakistani prison because authorities do
I'm asking you something.
But that does not mean you make it as a Pakistan issue.
So I'm asking you something, Dr. Bari. You're a human rights activist, right?
Ji.
Let me ask you something.
Right, absolutely.
If a Pakistani, 1 minute, if a Pakistani is tortured and killed in an Indian jail, right? His nobody, no explanation is given. His body is kept for 2 months, right? 1 minute.
Yes,
You're a human rights activist. You must look at these facts. Nobody's creating war. When I ask questions, I ask them on fact, Dr. Bari. I don't speculate. The question is this: this man's body is returned without internal organs, with grievous damage done, with injury marks. You're saying we should not ask the questions? Can you say as a human rights activist, if a Pakistani was killed in these circumstances, the people of Pakistan, the media of Pakistan would be quiet?
No, it's highly...
Who's lecturing whom?
Look, this is highly condemnable. Nobody is sporting. I'm not at least sporting, and I'm even willing to accept that this might have happened, because this is part of our police culture. We have been asking for prison reforms for years.
Your problem.
Look at this, the Human Rights Commission's report every year. We come up with this, the violation which takes place in our prisons. So I'm not denying that. What I'm saying, rather than making it as a India-Pakistan war, let's be very honest.
Miss Bari, the fact is, Miss Bari, prison reforms in Pakistan are Pakistan's problem, not ours. Your country has many problems. They are your problem, not ours. We should not, none of our citizens should become the casualty of your problems. I'm getting a reaction here right now coming in from General G.D. Bakshi. Yes, General Bakshi.
Arnab, I'd like the lady to kindly understand. When we had 93,000 Pakistani prisoners of war in 1971, please, we sent each and every one of them back, not in a body bag. They went back intact. So therefore, when you get paid back in this coin, it does become an India-Pakistan issue.
It will.
It has to be taken up in this term, because it is not a one-off, mode of behavior. Madam, it has been happening again and again.
This is the mindset
Please
which has not
understand
been
the feelings of the citizenry of this country.
No, we do understand. I completely sympathize with that sentiments. I sympathize with the family. But I'm saying, for God's sake,
Ma'am, India doesn't need sympathy.
Don't create hatred.
No,
don't create. I mean, I'm Pakistani and I'm condemning that.
Miss Bari, condemnations and sympathy. You see, Miss
all
Bari,
have to condemn it.
Miss Bari,
but let's not create more hatred.
Miss Bari,
What
nobody
is this
wants
when we are
to.
creating
No,
more
one
hatred?
second,
We are
Miss
saying
Bari.
Pakistanis are
Miss
killing,
Bari,
you know,
tell
I
me,
mean,
tell
okay,
me.
there's a lot of violation happening in Pakistan.
Madam,
we are just trying to see
Miss Bari, 1 minute,
Miss
Bari.
Look at the recent
Miss Bari,
Miss
Bari, Pakistan must be a responsible nation. Miss Bari,
we all have our own set of problems. Pakistan has its own set of problems.
You see, that's your
India
problem.
has its own set of
You
problems.
have many problems.
Both countries, unfortunately, do not celebrate their human right record. Let's accept that.
Miss Bari,
and we as human rights activists
Miss Bari,
must work towards improving human rights,
Miss
you know,
Bari,
respect of human rights, in our countries.
Miss Farzana Bari, human rights report can come. I want the FIA report. The FIA report is being hidden. Your Federal Investigation Agency report alleges torture. You as a human rights activist in Pakistan, should they release the report? Because this report names the people who tortured Cham Singh. Release the report. Even if it exposes your entire system, release the report. Tell us who tortured Cham Singh.
Yeah, sure. I think the Pakistani media, as I'm telling you, has brought this out. It was our Pakistani doctor who is saying that there is a torture, and here is us Pakistani activists who will be demanding that the police authorities, should be brought, should be held accountable. So I think this is certainly a grave matter of violation of human rights, and the human rights activists in Pakistan.
There you are, Mr. Kasuri. Mr. Kasuri and Colonel Mohammed, because you'd say an Indian perspective is skewed on this. You have a human rights activist in Islamabad herself who is saying release the FIA report. Make it public. Give us the autopsy report. Give us an explanation.
Sure.
Give us an explanation now. It's a view from Pakistan, sir. It's not a view from Delhi or Mumbai, Mr. Kasuri.
See, the position is that I would like to clear one or 2 points. You see, this honorable gentleman with the unwieldy mustaches seems to be a very hypersensitive person. You see, he talked about Indo-Pakistan relations and talked about a soldier head being beheaded. We received a couple of bodies of our soldiers whose heads were chopped off. And when there's action, there's a reaction. See, now as far as the minorities are concerned, let me tell you that your track record vis-a-vis the Indian minority is horrible.
On Cham Singh?
Whether it is a Gawa, whether it is a Christian minority in Gawa,
why don't you want to talk about Cham Singh?
In Punjab,
why don't you want to talk about Cham
all
Singh?
over India. See,
so why are you avoiding Cham
Babri
Singh?
Mosque?
Why are you avoiding Cham Singh?
Unfortunately horrible.
Who killed Cham Singh?
You are definitely a largest democracy of the world, but are you a real democracy? You are a Brahmin democracy.
Sir,
the rights of
please,
Brahmin are different.
Shudras
are different.
Let me tell you.
So what are you talking about?
Sir,
which democracy you are talking about?
Sir, let me tell you, there is a Havaldar, and there are 2 Havaldars, and there's an assistant superintendent who beat up Cham Singh. If your country has the courage, name those people. Don't hide them. Don't protect them. That's the response. And Maruf, I want
you have made it Indo-Pakistan issue.
So of course,
a simple case of an individual. This gentleman has made this an Indo-Pakistan issue.
Well,
so I have to answer in that perspective.
Maruf is responding to you, sir. One last response.
Scrupulously to discuss on those lines.
Maruf.
I've left with no option but to bring all these things on record.
We've exchanged. Sir, please give me a moment. We've exchanged views on several shows previously. Let me bring out 3 points. Point 1 is that I think if it was a national from another country, even in your neighborhood, not an Indian national, I think your police and your staff in the jail would have not perhaps behaved so harshly, because sentiments run high when it comes to an India-Pakistan issue. And I think, with full respects to Dr. Farzana, I respect her for her views, but I think where the India-Pakistan equation comes in, when there is an Indian prisoner or a Pakistani prisoner in India, emotions tend to get the better of us. But I would say that I don't think I've heard of any case of a prisoner of Pakistan in India who's been treated so mercilessly as is being highlighted in this case. I've known of insurgents taking intestines out of heart, of kidney being taken out by insurgents in other parts of conflicts where police people have suffered in those hands. But I've never known of in a regular prison something like this happening.
Never.
But having said that,
Never.
let me bring out a larger issue, sir. One issue which I think needs to be addressed, and I think in the interest of both countries, and Dr. Farzana, I'd request you to work on it, that there are still a number of people who are not being accounted for, prisoners of wars whose families are still waiting for an answer. At least they should be told. I'm really perplexed why this dead body is finally handed over in India with all these injuries, which will create the debate and lead to all this sensationalism, when prisoners of war who are there either in prison or have died or disappeared, at least those
but
details
Maruf,
to the
let me
family
make
could
one
also
thing
be
clear.
brought out. I'm addressing the larger issue.
No, but Maruf, let me make...
And the last thing, sir, with...
Maruf, you know, I understand what you're saying, but let me make a point here. Asking a question of why Cham Singh was tortured to death and why his internal organs were taken out when he was returned and why his body was lying in a morgue for 2 months and why that autopsy report is not coming out
when you do the autopsy, you take out
is not
the ingredients
sensationalism.
of the human body.
It is a question which will be asked, and Pakistan better give an answer. We'll follow the story. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on that debate.